My name's Missy Hilmer. I'm married. I have 3 children, Jake, Tyler, and Gracie. Tyler was my middle son. He was just a really kind-hearted soul, and he just would do anything for anybody. He was the kid that would sit at the lunch table with just whoever, just because they didn't have anyone to sit with. He was the one that would call me when I would get all worked up. And I can remember him telling me many times, like, "Mom, it's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay." It was a Friday night. It was a pretty normal night. I had taken sports pictures that night at the school. So this would have been his really last picture that we have of him. He had just turned 15 3 days prior to his accident. And that weekend we were gonna celebrate his birthday. I can remember Tyler sitting talking with Grandma and Grandpa, and he comes up and he's like, "Hey, we've got a couple buddies that need to switch out vehicles. Can I go with them?" We're like, "Okay, sure. You have an hour." And my husband, it was about 11:05, and he started getting nervous. And he started making calls and texts and not receiving any information back. Finally, he talked to the other boy that had switched cars and said, I'm gonna come back. You come the other way, I'll come my way, and we'll find them. You know, they're no big deal. I'm sure they had a flat tire, whatever. From our bedroom, we have this huge picture window, and you can see our road. We live on a dead-end road. And I can remember after he had left, I see headlights coming. So I'm like, oh, they're on their way. The headlights come, the headlights go in the sky, and the headlights disappear. And then the phone rang. And then that was my husband frantically telling me that there had been an accident and that Tyler was not well. And finally, I just said, I need to hang up and call 911. And at that instant when I hung up, I can remember falling to my knees, and split second, God lifted me, and I can remember having the strength, like overabundance of strength, to make that phone call and know where to direct them and how to talk calmly. And my dad took me down to the accident, which was about 1.5 miles from our house. We got there and we used the blanket to cover Tyler's legs because my husband kept saying he was really cold. At that moment, I knew that he was gone. I knew he was really cold, but yet he was so peaceful. My husband held him, and I can remember my vision, what I came upon was just so peaceful. I mean, he was just peaceful. As I'm sitting there beside Bill and Tyler and my other son Jake and the EMTs and everybody, all of a sudden feeling somebody lifting me, like taking their arms underneath my arms from behind and lifting me up. And at that moment, I can remember seeing the EMT looking at me like, okay, what's going on here? And I walked to the middle of that country road and looked directly at the moon and closed my eyes. And the words I heard were, everything is going to be okay. You're going to get through this. And I can just remember standing there for the longest time going, okay. Like I had hope, I had faith, I believed that. I don't know if that was God, the Holy Spirit, Tyler. I just knew that we were gonna be okay. And I can remember my husband saying that he wanted to walk home, and being relatively close, that's what we did. And I walked with him, and the first thing out of his mouth was, why us? Why did this happen to us? And I know it had to have been God speaking, because I came back and said, why would it not be us? Why are we someone so much better than anyone else for this to happen to? I said, God has big plans. I said, you know, Tyler knew so many people from so many towns. His faith was so strong. And for God to work, it has to be something big. Like, we have been blessed with a mission to tell people about God. I just thank him daily for giving us those 15 years with Tyler, for trusting us with this mission of telling our story to hopefully help and and comfort others who have lost somebody. I want to just remind people that, God is with them through anything and everything all of the time.